Associative property of addition. 3 or more terms can be grouped in any order when adding them without affecting the sum. By assigning values to these variables, it will be easier to understand this property. First, add A plus B, then add C. Let A equal 5x, B equal negative 4x, and C equal 21x. The equation becomes 5x plus negative 4x plus 21. 5x plus negative 4x is x. On the right side of the equal sign, add negative 4x plus 21x, then add 5x to its sum. Negative 4x plus 21x is 17x. On the left side of the equation, add x plus 21x, which is 22x. Next, add 5x plus 17x, which is 22x. 22x equals 22x. Altering the grouping order in which these numbers are added does not alter the sum. Commutative property of addition. 2 or more like terms can be added in either order without changing the sum. As before, values will be assigned to each variable to clarify this property. Let A equal 2x and B equal negative 7x. A plus B becomes 2x plus negative 7x, which is negative 5x. And B plus A becomes negative 7x plus 2x, which is also negative 5x. Negative 5x equals negative 5x. Additive property of 0. Adding 0 to a term equals the term. Let A equal 12y squared. A plus 0 becomes 12y squared plus 0, which is 12y squared. 0 plus A becomes 0 plus 12y squared, which is 12y squared. The inverse property of addition. Additive inverse is the opposite of a number. For example, the additive inverse of 3 is negative 3. The sum of a term and its additive inverse is 0. 12y squared plus 15xy minus 12y squared. In this problem, 12y squared and negative 12y squared are additive inverses. 12y squared minus 12y squared is 0. 15xy plus 0 is 15xy. Associative property of multiplication. 3 or more terms can be grouped in any order when multiplying them without affecting the product. First, multiply A times B, then multiply C times the product of A times B. Multiply B times C, then multiply A by the product of B times C. For convenience, we will assign values to the variables. Let A equal 2, B equal 4, and C equal 5x. Thus, A times B times C becomes 2 times 4 times 5x. 2 times 4 is 8. The equation becomes 8 times 5x. A times B times C becomes 2 times 4 times 5x, which is 2 times 20x. Next, multiply 8 times 5x, which is 40x. Now multiply 2 times 20x, which is 40x. 40x equals 40x. The commutative property of multiplication. Two or more factors can be multiplied in any order without affecting the product. A times B equals B times A. Let's simplify the problem by assigning values to these variables. Let A equal 4 and B equal x squared. A times B becomes 4 times x squared, which is 4x squared. B times A becomes x squared times 4, which is 4x squared. 4x squared equals 4x squared. Multiplicative property of 1. The product of a term multiplied by 1 is the term. Let A equal x squared. A times 1 becomes x squared times 1, which is x squared. Inverse property of multiplication. 1 over A is the reciprocal of A. 1 over A is also known as the multiplicative inverse of A. The product of a number A multiplied by its reciprocal is 1, provided A does not equal 0. For example, 1 over A times A equals 1. Next, let's look at some key phrases used to indicate certain operations. Sum of. Sum of two or more numbers means to add the numbers or variables that follow this phrase. Thus, the sum of 3 and z means add 3 and z. Increase by means increase the number of variables by the constant or variable that follows this phrase. Thus, x increased by 21 means add 21 to x. More than signifies addition. 12 more than n means add n and 12. The total of x and y means add x and y. Added to. 24 added to y means add to y and 24. Decreased by. N decreased by 14 means subtract 14 from n. Minus. Y minus 12 means subtract 12 from y. The difference between. The difference between x and y means subtract y from x. Multiplied by. 5 multiplied by x means multiply 5 and x. Times. 12 times y means multiply 12 and y. The product of. The product of x and y means multiply x times y. The quotient of x and y means divide x by y. T divided by 15 means divide t by 15. The ratio of 5 and 12 means divide 5 by 12. The square of t means multiply t by t, which is t squared. N times n means multiply n by itself, which is n squared. Cube of z, or z cubed, means multiply z times z times z, which is z cubed. The sum of the square of y and the difference x and z. The square of y is y squared. The difference of x and z is x minus z. Thus, the sum of the square of y and the difference of x and z is y squared plus x minus z. 4 times a number and the difference between the number and 9. First, solve for 4 times a number, which is 4 times n. Solve for the difference between the number and 9, which is n minus 9. The sum of 4 times a number and the difference between a number and 9 is 4n plus n minus 9. This problem can be further simplified because it has like terms in it. 4n plus n is 5n. The final solution is 5n minus 9. To remember. 1. Rational numbers are numbers which can be represented by a fraction or a terminating or repeating decimal. 2. Multiplication and division of a rational number results in a rational number. 3. Variable expressions are expressions in which letters are substituted for numbers according to the rules of arithmetic.